Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and this week on the Alfarrari I'm trying to get most of the glass in, and then hopefully we can start moving on to the underside of the car. Alright guys, welcome back, and those watching last week, you will have seen I had a go at window tinting and I just could not do that rear window from all accounts, particularly from many of the comments from window tinters and also talking to a window tinting shop who is now going to be tackling the rear window, that is a particularly difficult window to do anyway. Apparently it's also harder to do out of the car. There are lots of comments about why are you tinting on the outside of the screen? It's because you shrink the tint to shape on the outside, but you do place the tint on the inside when it's done. Yeah, obviously that seemed confusing to some people out there, but no, the tint does go on the inside of the car. It's just you shape it on the outside and then put it on once it's done. If you missed it, I'll put a link up above so you can catch up. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It all helps the channel out. So this week, we still have the driver's and passenger side windows to actually mount in, and the window rubbers, and hopefully the front windscreen. That is what I'm going to start tackling first. So let's start putting in the rubbers, hopefully for the last time, because I've done it multiple times now, and it's just so painful. It hurts my fingers clipping it into the clips, but we'll get it out of the way and let's get it done last time. All right, and the rubber is all in, and that is an absolute nightmare on the thumbs, pushing that in. But finally, with a nice firm close, the door panel gaps are perfect again. For ages, because I haven't had the rubber in it, it's been sitting sort of a bit shallow down the bottom here. Now they are absolutely spot on all the way around. I am very, very happy. Let's go on to the other side. And now the passenger side rubber is in as well all the way around. But for some reason, I don't have the perfect panel gap anymore. There's dirt on the door, but this is sitting just a little bit proud here, and it's aligned everywhere else. This is all good. At the front is all nice and perfect. It's just this lower corner is just out a little bit. I have adjusted the mount in as far as I possibly can and sort of done a lot of adjusting on the rubber, and I will potentially have another go of that later, but for now, that is where it's going to stay. So now I have the window completely stripped down, it's time to buff it up. I'm always paranoid about these buffs because they can catch and throw your piece very easily, so you have to be really, really cautious. Next, I'm starting to clean up these quarter glasses, getting ready to tint. First I start with some glass polish, then I go through with a razor blade and then clean and clean and clean to make sure they are immaculate before I get out the window tint. Now with the tint on these, I'm just picking a much larger piece, peel it off, stick it on, and then trim it once it's on the glass. Seems to be the quickest and easiest way for these flat panels. Now removing the window felt from the door chrome. I first started trying to use a screwdriver, but it really sort of made a mess and wasn't really working. Using a scraper was the best way, just knocking it in and opening up the gap. Alright, so I spent the last few hours pulling apart these front quarter glass frames and polishing them up, and then I've also gone through, taken the glass out, tinted the glass, and now it's time to start putting them back together again. I also did these strips, which sit along the top of the doors. Now I need to start reassembly, and I've got a couple of bits here. I've got the new window felts to go into these strips, and I've also got new Bailey channel. Bailey channel is the felt channel that goes in inside that your windows wind up and down on. I've got that as well, so that's all nice and new. So let's start putting it all back together again. So now installing the new felt, I just cut a piece to length and then crimp it closed. Then installing the Bailey channel, just clip it into place. And then I installed the window rubber with the help of a bit of WD-40. Alright, so I've cleaned up the windows, the new rubbers are all in, and the new Bailey channel's in. So now it's time to start fitting them in the car, so then I can start looking at what I need to do to get the drivers and passenger windows in and lined up, and that I know is going to take a lot of messing around. So here is a perfect example of how to waste time. I install the quarter glass, get it all in, and then realise I need to pull it out again so I can put the outer chrome in first. Alright, so I started trying to reassemble the door and get the window frame and stuff inside the door, and I've noticed that this external stainless piece that goes along the top of the door on the outside and has the felt channel in it for the glass, it has a couple of these tabs, which is where it's held on by, and it's missing one, and this is on the rear edge of the door, and I can't live without it. Like without it, it sits up and it's loose, and it's going to be pretty horrible. So, like everything, it can't be quick and easy. I have to actually make a new piece. So I've just cut out a little piece of. This is mild steel. I don't have any stainless steel that's this thin. So what I'm going to do is I'll paint this so that it won't rust, but this will weld to the stainless. So I'm going to make up a piece now so that I can actually connect it up to the stainless and screw it into the car so it's not going to flop around everywhere. So let's see if we can match the little bends and stuff in this piece and make our own little connection. All right, and here is my little tab. It's made out of mild steel. I welded it with the stainless wire. It welds on fine, and I just gave it a little coat of paint just so that it shouldn't rust too badly under there, hopefully. And yeah, that will get me out of trouble, because if I couldn't bolt it down, it would just be flopping around and it just wouldn't be cool. And like I said, you can't buy these anymore, so you have to use what you got. So here I installed the fiddly side mirrors using tiny little M4 nuts and bolts, and I used some grease on my fingers to put the nuts in from underneath so that I could sort of blindly find where they need to go. Quite a tedious, time-consuming task. And now the quarter glass is all bolted in again, I realise I have to remove it again to fit the window glass and then put it in again. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It's like one step forward, two steps backwards in this job. I've been struggling for ages trying to get everything in order to put the window back in, and I have the window in now, and now I'm sort of trying to get the electric window to work fluidly and nicely. I've got it in, it keeps getting stuck, but I actually disconnected the glass from the mechanism, and I've got it set up here, so if I can wind the mechanism down, and it gets stuck around this part here. For some reason, it can get past, once it goes past it's okay, but in the middle there, it gets stuck. So there's something I need to work with that, and yeah, and once it's connected to the glass, it gets even more stuck. So I need to pull this out again and have a bit of a look and see if I can work out what's going on with this window. All right, well, this is just the tedious stuff I have to deal with. So I actually had a look. There was some grime and stuff in the track. I thought that might be it, but it's not. I can actually see, you might not be able to pick it up on camera, but this track gets just a little bit tighter just around this section here. And I think that's all it is. So I'm going to go through now, open it up, get it back in there and see if we can actually get it doing what it's supposed to do and lift the window up and down reasonably smoothly. So that's just how another hour's disappeared getting this to work better, but it seems now it slows down just a tiny bit in the middle there, but not like it did before. It was getting stuck. It was a combination of a couple of things from what I've seen. The tracks weren't aligned, just little bits and pieces, just going through, having a look, tweaking something, trying it. It's just such time-wasting stuff, but let's see if we can get this window in and working like a window. It's still not perfect, but I've wasted way too much time on this now, so this is where I've got it for the time being. I think my battery's actually getting lower. It goes up and down. It does what it needs to do for the time being. And of course, in my messing around, I've actually wrecked the tint on the window, which is par for the course for me. If it's worth doing twice. So, window is done. This side has got to be done. That's enough time. I think I've spent multiple hours now, many hours on just getting this window right. Time to button this one up and move over to the other side. And if you're asking why I'm doing the electric windows, it's because I need to be able to wind the windows up and down for the show, and also just to be able to get the window in and up and lined up and everything. So let's put the door trim back on again and go over and do the other side. Of course, I bolt the driver's side window in, and it works perfectly straight away. No problems at all. Of course, after I had assembled all this and finished up, I realised I hadn't installed the mirror on this side, so I removed everything and went back and did that as well. That is absolutely crazy. It's taken me the best part of 4 days to put together 2 doors. That's it. Oh, there's so much I wanted to get done for this event, and it's dwindling down very quickly. I did want to try and get to the stage of starting the car, but there's still a lot of things to do before I can start it, and I just don't think it's going to happen before the event. In any case, that is all the time I've got this week, so I think that means it's time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hey guys, Last week we talked about the Ferrari F430. Now, in 2007 at the Frankfurt Auto Show, Michael Schumacher unveiled the 430 Scuderia. This served as a successor to the 360 Challenge Stradale and was built to compete with the Porsche GT2 and the Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. Leggera. Sorry. It was 100 kilos lighter and more powerful than the regular F430, making 510 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. And it was only available with the upgraded Superfast 2 paddle shift gearbox. In 2008, the Scuderia Spider convertible was released, which was 80 kilos lighter than the regular Spider. There was also the F430 Challenge, which was built to compete in the Ferrari Challenge series. The F430 GTC was a race version built to compete in the FIA GT2 series. The engine was de-stroked to 4 litres and only made 440 horsepower, but it only weighed 1,100 kilos. These cars won their class in the FIA GT Championship and also the 2008 and 2009 24 Hours of Le Mans. The F430 GT3 was based on the Challenge, but it had better aerodynamics and made more power, making 550 horsepower. But it did weigh more at 1,220 kilos. That was the minimum. Despite making over 100 horsepower more than the GTC version, it had a much slower qualifying time by 8 seconds. The 2007 24 Hours of Spa at the Francorchamps.
That was like almost 4 days to basically just assemble 2 doors. It's just so tediously time-consuming. But I have all of the side windows in. They were all tinted until I wrecked the tint on the passenger side. The driver's side's all good.
How'd you do that?
By putting it in. Like, you know, it was just wrestling with it and fighting backwards and forwards and trying to get everything right. I can redo that in the car. It's going to be much easier fixed in the car. It shouldn't be too hard to do that.
Yeah, famous last words.
If it's worth doing twice. You guys have
Already said multiple times. Why stop at 2?
Exactly. So, anyway, I'm still on the countdown. We're still going to be at World Time Attack come hell or high water. We are going to be there. So, hopefully you'll join us for that. Like always.
Tinted or not tinted, so shall we be. Like, subscribe, Patreon if you want to help Jeff out on his wrestles with inanimate car objects.
Yep.
And like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I might have already said that, but you know the drill. And yeah.
We'll see you on the next one.
See you soon.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. At the Frankfurt Auto Show, Michael Show.
Michael Show. It was the Michael Show.
This served as a successor to the 360 Challenge Stradale and this served as a successor to the This served as a successor to the 360 Challenge Stradale and was built to compete with. This served as a successor to the oh my god, getting worse. And it was only available with the Superfast. In 2008, I don't know. But it only weighed 1,100 kilos. This seems hefty.
Yeah.
Which I think sounds kind of chunky. I'm not fat shaming. It seems like a lot. Ferrari. Okay.